we go. Gerda Gatling, Chris Markey, Meta Christensen are officials today here in Lynchburg. And right off the bat, an early preview. Bella Smuda, Izzy Natabo, and it's the Flames who win the opening tip. A Flames team that since the MTSU loss where they scored just 41 points, averaging 75 points per game over their last four, as Asia Boone takes the three, and the first touch she has goes down for three.
Good ball movement off the top for Liberty. They were worried about Bella Smuda slipping to the paint, forgot all about their shooter, former Conference USA Freshman of the Year, Asia Boone.
Now FIU, it's been a challenging season without a couple of all-conference pieces, Tanaja Hayes and Maya Kone. They've been working through it, and it's a 5-second violation. Good defense there from Emma Hess, and an early shake of the head from Coach Burks Wiley.
And that feels good for Liberty off the top to get that quick turnover. They have another opportunity at the offensive end.
Biggest change in the starting lineup, first time all season. Anna Badosa gets the start. Jordan Hodges out dealing with an illness that'll keep her out of today's contest as Badosa spins. Can't finish. Offensive board for Smuda, and the putback for two.
And she missed Badosa inside. That's where she missed Smuda inside, and that's where Badosa has to be careful, because you don't want to put your head down and not look at the play developing in front of you. I don't mind that shot, but you're always got to look for 6-6 inside.
FIU also without their point guard today, and Gina Bayoso, who is out with an undisclosed injury.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting game because of that. Both floor leaders, neither on the floor today. Backups are going to have to be big.
Liberty a 5-0 lead here early on. The Flames team that's gotten off to some great starts lately. Here's Smuda. Has fakes, drives baseline, and the kiss off the glass for two, and a quick timeout coming for Jessica Burks Wiley. Liberty red hot early on, 7-0 Flames. Good time. What has it been to see all your teammates here today? There's almost 20 of them.
Fabulous. It's been the best feeling ever. It just feels like yesterday, but it's been 20 years. And especially the Lithuanians. Katie and I made a pact when we graduated that we were going to go back.
And have you?
No.
There's still time. There's still plenty of time. So, Crystal, as you are with so many of these old teammates, what are some of those memories that you guys talk about, especially from that Sweet 16 year? What are those things that you guys remember? A few of the highlights, would you say?
Probably one of the highlights was when we got to be led by the police, I think, to the Sweet 16. That's kind of overwhelming feeling to know that you're actually in the bus that the police are leading.
Yeah. I love that. And then how about like the games situations? Like, what do you remember about going into, especially that first game, right? No, before this, only one 13 seed had ever knocked off a number 4 seed. What do you remember about that game in particular?
You know, I don't remember a lot of specifics, but I do remember we all felt just kind of at peace.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't nervous, and you would think we would be nervous, but we just felt like a different team compared to the other games that we'd been into. And we just literally felt like this was our year and God was blessing our team.
Hey, why not Liberty, right?
Right, exactly. Why not Liberty?
But Crystal, too, little known fact, Kelly was actually an assistant coach on that team. And I wanted you to kind of rate her style back in the day, because she had a pretty good pantsuit game.
Okay.
She did, but she was a beautiful, tall, successful basketball player that we looked up to.
I love that. So, I see this group now, and I know what what you guys were able to do 20 years ago now, which feels forever ago, because it's not possible, because I'm in my early 30s, I think. I'm telling myself. I'm joking. Okay, but what, would you say that since that has happened, do you look back now and really realize how unique that was? Because I think in the moment, we were all in this place of we have the people to do this, and clearly you guys did it 2 games in a row. Right. Do you look back now and just think wow, that was pretty remarkable?
Yes. I don't think we realized in the moment. I mean, we did. We were excited. But looking back, it's just a memory that I tell the kids all the time. This is something that not everybody gets to experience. God was so good to us, and I cherish every memory.
And give us a little update on where you are now. I know you have 4 kids.
I do. I have 4 kids, 5 to 14, and I consider myself the CEO of our household right now. Yeah, I'm a veterinarian, but I haven't been able to practice because family's been my priority right now.
Well, I'm sure that the kids keep you busier than maybe Kelly and Coach Green did it at practice.
For sure.
Back in the day.
For sure, I'm a taxi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My question is, do you ever get out to the gym and put up, because if you knew Crystal, you knew her three-point shot was deadly. Like won big-time games for us at Liberty. Do you still ever get out and shoot with your kids?
I shoot a lot with my kids.
Do you?
I have played some pickup games, but my mind tells me I am what I was 20 years ago, and my body tells me do not do that again.
Well, Crystal, last question for you here. You're back here today. Obviously, a lot has changed around Lynchburg, Liberty University. This arena wasn't here back when you played. How neat is it to you to realize that you and your teammates were kind of the building blocks for what this program has become?
I mean, it's a great feeling. I'm so thankful to be a part of that team, and I don't know, to be able to come back, and I hope that we can maybe let the other girls know that are playing currently to just cherish these moments, because it's gone before you know it, and maybe in the moment you don't want to be out there, but you do.
That three-pointer there by Fleta, the first in over 4 minutes since you joined us. But we thank you so much for taking some time. Enjoy the rest of this weekend. Enjoy some time with your teammates, and look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Crystal.
You're welcome.
Well, Liberty up 7-3 after Lucia Fleta hit that three a moment ago. FIU had been 0 of 6 from the field to begin this game. And Bella Smuda with the block right there, just moving into second place. Now she'll try to chase down her post coach, Katie Matera.
And with that block, she surpasses Mary Beth Feenstra, who is also in the audience. And you see those are sisters, Katie and Mary Beth. Bella now sits at number 2, and she is on the hunt to take over that spot from her coach, Katie Feenstra Matera.
Valero with the finish off the glass. Kelly, early on we've seen FIU struggle offensively. What's Liberty been doing good defensively?
You know, I think right now, especially when you've got a lineup that you're not used to with Badosa in, as she just knocks down a shot on cue, you know, there's got to be communication. And I think that's right now what Liberty has been able to do. They have made the right reads. They're helping. That time, Nadabo with a great entry pass, catches it high and finishes, and the help was not there on time.
Liberty shooting 44% from the field early on in this contest as they go inside looking for Aya's daughter, and that's a turnover. It's the first of the game so far for Liberty.
And that's obviously a part of the game, too, that we need to keep our eye on, because this is a team in FIU that turns the ball over a lot. And that's been their Achilles heel. They play at a faster pace. That's why they feel like the coach says that she will tolerate some of those turnovers. What she doesn't want are the unforced errors. There are turnovers that this team does not need to make. She said, I don't mind, hey, if we're in transition and we're trying to make a good pass, turn the ball over. I understand that, but we cannot shoot ourselves in the foot with unforced turnovers.
Coming into today, FIU ranked dead last in the nation, 25 turnovers per game. It has been their Achilles heel to this point this season. Boone open in the corner. Short on the three, battle for the rebound, and it will stay with the Flames. FIU, though, has erased a 7-0 deficit after that timeout by their head coach.
Emmy Stout in the game, too, and that will be interesting to see this matchup now. Freshman against fifth-year player in Nadabo.
Nadabo's played over 100 games in her collegiate career. Emmy Stout just her 10th today, and a turnover. All the talk about the turnovers for this FIU team. They also do a good job at forcing their opponents to do the same. Extra pass, Valero left open for three, airballed it. Lita grabs it right back. Valero's going to take another one. This time she connects.
Oh, there's nothing better than that as a shooter when you airball a shot, get an opportunity to get one right back up and then knock it down. That's huge. And Liberty, that's just some poor defense. You've got to get out on that shooter and at least contest.
A 12-2 run for FIU after the timeout. And now an offensive foul as we take a look at our keys to today's game.
All right, this is going to be easy. Battle of the bigs and battle of the boards. Both these teams need battle in order to win this game, and this is a team that really does an excellent job, both sides of the ball, at getting position and getting rebounds, and they want those rebounds to start their break. The question I have is who's going to win that interior battle. Natabo, now Emmy Stout, and obviously Badosa, as we talked about earlier.
Kind of feels like one of those select all that apply questions on the SAT right there, Kelly.
That's right.
And a over the back call here against Natabo. First foul, hasn't been many whistles early on in this game. This was going to be the matchup today. These two teams, the two best rebounding margins in the league, and Kelly, two coaches that pride themselves on that fact.
Yeah, both of these coaches talk about rebounding every single time in a huddle. Every single time. That it tells you it's not, and both coaches will say this, it's not a height thing. It's an effort thing. You have got to want the rebounds and get yourself in position to get them. And both these teams have really taken that philosophy, and it is to their benefit.
Dean wanted the three. Booten couldn't track down the long board. It goes back to FIU. Kelly, you call that early timeout if you're Jessica Burks-Wiley trying to right the ship, and her team responded.
That's huge. I mean, that's a coaching move right there that you're going to be happy about, because just a couple minutes into the game and already calling a timeout, and look at how her team has responded. That is a great, it speaks to the team and the leadership of that woman right there, and the fact that her team will do what she says.
Talked about the veteran taking on the freshman inside. Emmy Stout just picked up her second personal, heads back to the bench, and Bella Smuda right back in. Natabo inside. Off of Smuda as FIU keeps it with 19 on the shot clock.
And if I'm FIU, I go into Natabo every single possession to try to get now Bella Smuda into some foul trouble. And remember, Noah, this is the position for Liberty that they are very short-handed in. Lost two post players to ACL injuries, and they are not a deep bench in the paint.
And without Shiree as well as Emily Howard for most of the season now. As James finishes for two.
I love that look. Going to the baseline, all the help collapses down, and it opens up the player right on the block, and she gives her the great look.
Nearly a turnover. Moore gets it back. Kelly, how do you jumpstart the offense? As Mills takes the three, there's the answer.
You asked, and she fulfilled. Avery Mills with the triple early. Just got on the floor.
I feel like the Liberty students would love if we were writing their test questions, because they're easy to answer. A lot of chaos right now. Lita downhill. Mills got her hands on it.
Well, let's talk about that plus-minus score, right? Avery Mills been in the game for about a minute. She has a three, she has a block, and a rebound. Almost got a steal earlier.
Blocking foul is going to send Brooke Moore to the free throw line.
Here's the baseline drive. Watch the defense collapse, and then got inside position on Athene, and then the quick pass to Avery Mills, and that's automatic.
Mills has been one of the Flames' best three-point shooters this season. That three-pointer put her over 50%. So 1 out of every 2 shots she tosses up so far this year have gone down.
That's unbelievable. I mean, this is not a layup. You have a lot of post players that don't shoot 50% from the field. And to be a three-point threat like that and shoot with this consistency, it speaks so much about the work that she puts in.
She's been a big reason why this Flames team is on pace to have their best percentage of all time from downtown, shooting almost 40% this season. That would be a program record. And a turnover here for Aaliyah Pitts, the Western Kentucky transfer.
Yeah, those are the turnovers that Coach does not want to live with. She doesn't like those turnovers that turn into possible opportunities for Liberty.
Liberty, after the hot start's gone quiet lately. Mills open inside, and the freshman off the bench is playing well.
I'll tell you what, if anyone's going to find that player coming off, it's going to be Athene. She's got such good vision, but how about Mills with another bucket?
Moore causing chaos. It's going to stay with FIU.
Look at that. Over the shoulder pass for Athene. Totally looks it off. Nobody knows it's going there. And then Mills off the glass and in. What a great couple minutes she's had.
Feels like once a game we say that about a Claudia Athene pass.
She's sneaky. Sneaky good.
Smuda grabs the rebound. Steenbergen gonna push. Liberty on a 7-0 run of their own here. A good response for the Flames after going stagnant on offense.
Yeah, that's huge too, because you've got 4 bench players in right now with Bella Smuda inside.
Swung for more. She'll work baseline. Got past Atkins. And an offensive foul.
And that's how you stop a run right there. Liberty on a 7-0 run. You make plays like that. Get in position. Take the charge. Excellent defensive effort for Pitts.
Moore missed 2 games ago. Only played 4 minutes against New Mexico State. That's her first foul. Under 10 on the game clock. This is Diata inside. Missed it. Smuda grabs the rebound. And the horn sounding on a fast-paced first quarter here in Lynchburg. A seesaw affair here early on. Liberty off to the hot start. FIU responds.
You're in late game situation and you're tired or you don't have that same energy. But I love this. Those are some pretty unbelievable percentages for a team, period, let alone in the first half.
And what makes it even more impressive is some of those numbers include a West Coast trip that took them to UTEP and New Mexico State. That's not an easy trip.
No, as FIU will also tell you, not a good trip at all. Liberty, of course, very thankful to come out with 2 wins. FIU, not so. And, you know, I think right now probably both teams happy to be in their time zone.
Moore comes up with the steal. Atkins trying to chase her down. Moore to the tin.
Well, Coach Green had about as great things to say about number 10 in White as anybody when we talked to him this week. He thinks that this is a player that has incredible upsides as Nadabo gets another bucket. I mean, can we just talk about the physical specimen that she is? This is a player who has done such a good job getting in shape, getting in the weight room, and then uses her body so well to get buckets.
Steenbergen looking for Mills, who's had a good start to this game. Smuda doubled inside. Under 10 on the shot clock. Mills keeps it in play. Liberty's got to go. Mills, teardrop, yes.
Okay. Perfect from the field is Avery Mills. Wow.
Kelly, you talked about Nadabo the last time down, and no disrespect to Bouldereva or Smuda, but you believe that she could be the best post in this league.
I mean, I think with her body, the way that she goes up, she's very difficult to defend. And I'll tell you what, I bet if you talk to Bella Smuda after this game, she'll say she's exhausted.
Steenbergen stepped into the 3, missed it.
There is something about having to push against a player like that for 40 minutes of a game that will completely drain your energy. Look at that. I mean, goes in, wraps her up, and then Avery Mills with a steal and another bucket.
9 first half points for Avery Mills, and the lead for Liberty has grown to 6.
This is what Coach Green has loved about her game, is that she continues to get better. And another block. That's now 3 on the day for Bella Smuda. We talked about her needing to be that rim protector.
And now an offensive foul called against Bella Smuda. Looked like she just fell into Nadabo. That's the right call by the letter of the law by Chris Markey.
Yeah, that's the right call. And again, right, we're talking about how physical this is. That probably is what was happening to Smuda on the other side, but with her size, it's so difficult to figure out how to play against a person of that size and strength. Smuda doing a good job early, but I'll tell you what, she's going to have to save her legs to be able to sustain this. And now another steal by Mills.
Moore driving downhill. Tried to pitch it back to Mills. Liberty with some different rotations than we're used to seeing for this team, with Jordan Hodges out today. A player like Avery Mills probably going to play more today, and she's taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, she certainly is, and we got to see her before this game started, and you know, she alluded to that fact that, you know, with one guard out, just be fun to be able to be on the floor a little bit more, and wow, has she taken advantage of this opportunity. to say the least. I mean, her stat line is filled already.
Moore going to drive baseline in the tough two for 10 and White.
Talk about another stat line that's moving up the charts. Brooke Moore. Wow, what can she not do?
Liberty with a combined 14 points off the bench by Mills and Moore. Natabo looking to quiet the crowd and rolls it in.
And you got to keep going into her. Now you've got Emmy Stout playing against her. 2 fouls. I'd go in to Natabo every possession.
Athene just flipped it over her head. Extra pass. Steenbergen. Yes.
Great pass by Mills, because I thought she could have put that shot up, but she saw wide open Steenbergen up top.
Steenbergen over her last 4 games shooting 60% from downtown.
Yeah, she is a guard that is being told to play inside in the post. She doesn't love that.
They want her to rebound more. They'll like that right there.
That's right. That was one of the stats Coach Green brought up, is that she has not been rebounding as he has wanted her to, but that will help, along with that 3, I think, to keep her on the floor.
Steenbergen wants another. You don't need to rebound that.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it, Noah. I mean, I think this entire Liberty team is ready to go today.
Liberty on a 12-2 run to begin this second quarter.
And when you know a team is prone to turnovers, that's the thing, that's what you have to do. Just like we saw with Brooke Moore, that play. She jumps the passing lane, doesn't get it, and then does a great job. They find Pitts in the corner for that 3. Much needed bucket for FIU.
FIU not backing down early. Not the best 3-point shooting team, but 3 of 7 shooting over 40%. Athene says, I want one too. Off the side iron and down for Valero.
You know, and I don't think it would be a bad decision. I would love to see Liberty potentially go to their 2-3 zone, especially to protect those posts inside. You just close up the paint with Natabo inside, and then you let this team try to beat you from long range.
Great box out there by Stout. Mills ahead in transition. Thought about giving it up. Instead, the circus shot and runs into double figures.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say on that one.
And a good response from Paris Atkins, leading contender for newcomer of the year in the conference. She's got 4 early.
Yeah, and I think she's somebody that definitely needs to step up right now for this FIU team.
Liberty shooting 60% from the field right now as Steenbergen put her defender in the spin motion. And now we'll head to the free throw line. Kelly, this Liberty team, Kelly, when you look at them and you look at the rest of the conference, particularly this season, you feel like the depth for Liberty could play a big role as we go down the stretch and into the postseason.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's something that we talked about at the beginning of the year, that this is probably the deepest team that Coach Green has ever had. And that was, of course, before we had some injuries, but everyone was available. Everyone could put, 10, 15 minutes on the floor at least and be effective. And I think that is going to play into postseason because, you look at a team like MTSU, who now has 1 loss in conference play, first time in a couple years, but they're a team that plays about 6 people total. Their guards average 35 minutes a game. And when you think about playing all the way until March, I think a deep bench is going to be to your favor.
Atkins lays it in for 2 more, and to further illustrate your point, today 70% of Liberty scoring has come from bench pieces.
Yeah, that's big, and especially getting opportunities like this. To have Badosa in the starting lineup, getting her comfortable with this other starting 4 on the floor. I mean, these are going to be good things for them down the stretch.
Badosa hits for 2. A Liberty team that seems to be finding their stride, 8-2 over their last 10 games, and we know how Kerry Green's team's playing the month of February. That's just around the corner.
Yeah. I think it speaks a lot to the chemistry that's on this team. Coach Green, it never shies away from talking about how much this team loves each other, and you see it on the floor because when you play with this many players that can come in the game, you got to put aside your ego, and every one of these players have done this for the good of the team, and that's how they'll get wins, especially late season.
Badosa found Boone. She couldn't connect. Still searching for her first basket after she hit the opening 3 in this game. Kelly, we've seen kind of Jekyll and Hyde offensively here for FIU. How do you find more consistency?
Well, you got Nadabo back in the game, so I think that's your go-to right there. But it doesn't mean you just, come down, post her up, and that's it. You've got to get some movement on the perimeter. Make the defense shift. Get Nadabo into a position on the block where she can be successful to score. She's not a shooter from the outside, so she's a lot more comfortable on the block.
72% shooter, though, from the block this year for the point well received. Smuda tipped that one out of play. 11 on the shot clock. Keep an eye on Nadabo on the dive. They go into her. Nadabo got Smuda in the air, couldn't finish. But Hess grabs the rebound.
Smuda did tip it, and I know it probably wasn't, you couldn't see that from the naked eye, but I think I just had my eyes on it the entire time and was able to see that. That is what she can do to affect shots.
Or maybe I just need glasses, and quite frankly, Kelly, I'm 30, and I'm starting to think that this is the year that I'm going to end up with some reading glasses.
You did just tell me this when we were off camera, and hey, I mean, avoid it as long as you can. I'm not there yet, and I am just a tad older than you know of.
I've heard it makes you look a little more sophisticated, though, as we see the tie up there for Boone, thrown to the floor, and the officials quick to step in.
But that right there is what you need to do, right? So the ball goes into the post. You can't just leave your girl alone. Don't make Smuda guard her alone. Go help. Look at this. Secures the ball, and then Boone right there to get the tie-up.
And Liberty has done a good job at throwing multiple looks at Nadabo here early on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important, too, to keep her wondering, where's the help coming from?
The Flames have their largest lead of the game. It's 13. They're doubling up FIU so far here in the second quarter. Look at the battle in the post right now, and Nadabo is going to draw the foul. That'll be 2 on Izzy Nadabo. And if you're Jessica Burks-Wiley, do you think about sitting her here for the final 2:16 in the quarter?
I would, because I think she's going to be so important in that second half. You don't want to get her in a situation with 2:16 left to pick up a third foul. I'd say the same for Smuda.
Well, certainly the depth issues for FIU might negate that as we see Nadabo stay out on the floor with 2 personals.
Yeah, and if I'm Liberty, I'm going into Smuda. Make her pick up a third quick.
I thought I was thinking that way. As clearing things out, under 10 on the shot clock. Boone triggers the 3. And Ayestauter, who's been one of the best offensive rebounders in the conference, finds Hess, who knocks down the 3.
And that's how important rebounding is for both teams. But that time, Liberty all over the offensive glass. Ayestauter with the extra effort to go get that ball and then find Hess.
Hess nearing 200 career threes. Lita working on Badosa, fellow countrymate. And a second miss and more continued. It's been a war inside.
Oh, I'm loving it, though. You know what's so funny for me? I mean, I just got to say this as a post player. You saw the contact down low, and I am so glad that there was not a foul called, because that's what posts do, right? We got to stay on each other, but then that amount of contact up here in the backcourt, and that's a foul. And this is not a knock to the officials. It's just that I think there's a different expectation sometimes on what's allowed in each position.
All I can say is if this was the men's game, it wouldn't even be a question, right?
That's right.
Smuda inside, and that's a foul. Who will it be on? And it's going to be on Nadabo. That's 3. Jessica Burks-Wiley gambles, and the gamble doesn't pay off.
That's why that is such an interesting move, because now you go in the second half, and you've got to play careful the entire time, and that changes everything. Great job by Liberty to go inside, and I think they're going to say just for arm being over the top. I honestly didn't see a ton of contact on that one.
That's where you're hoping right there. If you're Pitts, you're just raising your hand like that foul's on me.
Yeah, you take it.
So Nadabo will be on the bench for the remainder of the second quarter as Liberty's lead has grown to 18.
That's a special player, though. I'll tell you what. FIU, especially with the injuries that they had to endure early in this season, the fact that they got her from the portal was huge.
Atkins with a nice response. Liberty shooting 60% from the field here in this first half. They came ready to play as Badosa's rejected inside. Fantasia James says, this is my lane.
That's what you want to do. We talked about it early. This is a team that loves to get up defensively. How about that rejection? Just couldn't hold on to it.
That's as good as it gets right there. Hess on the curl. Mid-range two is good.
I love that play because the first is the decoy. You overplay the one coming off the screen and you completely forget about the second.
Lita spins, can't finish. Liberty's a chance to go 2 for 1 here. Not much has gone wrong for Liberty offensively here in this first half. Boone open in the corner, short on the 3. Atkins has it, and FIU can take the final shot of the half. Atkins went off the leg, and now Liberty gets it back with a chance for one more.
Oh, that's the kind of turnover that Coach Wiley just is not going to be happy about. One more opportunity to score is all they had.
Under 10 seconds remain in this first half from Lynchburg. Badosa working downhill on Valero. Here's Hess, open for 3, and came up short. A rare miss in the first half for Liberty. Plus 18, outscoring FIU by 16 here in the second quarter.
Definitely a key, getting back, stopping the ball early, not letting them get those runs.
Izzy Nadabo, you saw her there on the screen a moment ago. Kelly, take me into her head here. You've got 3 fouls to start this third quarter. What are your thoughts as a post?
Woo, that's why I would have wanted her on the bench after that second foul, because you've got to play so cautious, right? Every post up now, you're just being careful. You're not wanting, even that, you can't go up for that rebound because you're concerned about going over the back, because one foul gets you at 4, and now you likely will sit until the probably late minutes of that fourth quarter.
Quick trigger, long on the 3 from Boone, and Nadabo grabs the rebound. FIU putting up just 27 points in the opening half as Atkins misses there.
You saw that FIU was trying to go on the break, just missed on that layup, and Liberty also trying to go on their own break, but an errant pass inside the Ayestadter.
Sloppy start for both teams here in the third quarter. Teams did a good job of controlling their turnovers. Both of these squads have dealt with issues in that department all season long as Badosa picks up her first personal. Midway through the first quarter, this game was all knotted up between these two teams, and then Liberty going on a big run. Pitts for 3, and Smuda clears the board. Hess, quick trigger, too strong. A rare air ball for Emma Hess. Pitts with a good pass. It will stay with FIU.
Well, you think that fast break number was talked about in the halftime speech by Coach Wiley, because all we've seen now from FIU is taking the ball, whether off of the missed shot by Liberty or the turnovers by Liberty, they have gone all the way to the rim.
You're used to seeing this FIU team be a lot more free-flowing than they have been today. Foul on Ayestadter. FIU shooting below 40% in this game, 0 for 3 to begin this second half. Pitch straight away 3, short, and friendly fire there as it lands in the hands of Badosa. Not a single point so far in the third quarter, 2 minutes in.
I know, this has been a pretty sloppy first hand. Thank you, Bella Smuda. I said first hand, first half rather. Bella Smuda starts us off a little later than we expected.
The lead ballooning 27-20 for Liberty. We touched on it in the first half, a Liberty team that's gotten off to fast starts in first halves of games, but they have definitely lagged off a bit in the second half. See if that trend continues today. Valero put her defender on skates. Natabo with the offensive rebound. The putback doesn't go in. 2 free throws upcoming.
Good job by Natabo to stay on the glass, but here's the way we finally got some points on the board in this second half. Good step back. That's the way to create distance against a tall defender. Steps back, puts it in. Now Badosa will take a rest.
You can't pound in the post all day long, right? Sometimes you got to be a little smarter.
And honestly, that's the difference of these styles of post plays, because Natabo is a power player inside. Bella is a finesse player. I know what that's like. That was me as well. I wanted to use my quickness to get to the bucket. Smuda, same story. So being able to fall away, keeping the ball high, I think that is her game against Natabo today.
Natabo in and out on the free throw. If there has been one knock on her game this year, it has been her performance at the free throw line. This was a career 65% free throw shooter heading into this season, shooting below 40% on the year.
Oh, how about the defense there by Atkins, swarming Badosa up top, and then jumps the passing lane. That's what you want, right? You're down this much in a game early in this third quarter. You got to change things up for your team. Those kind of energy plays can start bleeding over to the rest of your players, and everyone now starts playing with that intensity.
Feels like Paris Atkins at times has been lost in the fray a little bit today, but she's been arguably one of the best players in the conference so far this year. Here's Boone for 3, yes!
I just love the extra pass, right? That's the unselfishness of this team. The shot was there technically in the corner, but you see Boone wide open, no defender on her. She gives it to her. Great look inside. Izzy Natabo. Turn, score. It's that easy.
Bullying the freshman Stout inside. That last 3 for Asia Boone, 97 in her career, attempting to become the second fastest Flame ever to reach 100 threes. Needs just 3 more. Swung for Boone. The drive on Pitts, dumps it for Aya's daughter. Missed it. Stout grabs the rebound. And Liberty will have it on the baseline.
Here's the baseline drive, and then the pass, and the extra pass to Asia Boone, who knocks it down. Liberty does an excellent job at finding the open player. 10 assists now and 19 made field goals. This is a team that when they're at their best, they're playing together.
Averaging close to 17 assists per game this year, top 50 in the country. Sharing is caring, right?
That's right. The elementary truths crossover.
Hey, we share a little bit on the broadcast every once in a while. 23 with another 2.
I'm glad she got that, because they missed Emma Hess earlier in a possession before. She was wide open on that corner. I wasn't going to say anything, but when a shooter needs to get going, you got to get her the ball.
I don't know, Kelly. I've been trying to share a sponsor read with you all year long, and you've not taken me up on it yet.
I'll take it. I've done it before, Noah.
Hey, you're pretty good when you do it. Make you earn your money, right?
Right. That's right.
I can't have all the fun. Pitts guarded by Aya's daughter. Kickball. Shot clock going to reset to 20. Sluggish start to the third quarter for both sides, but Liberty with their largest lead of the game of 22. Lita pitch to the corner. Atkins worked on Boone. Good defense.
Yeah, and good tip to the rebounder, Emmy Stout. Asia Boone tipped that one back.
Always have to respect the 3-ball of Asia Boone, as you do with Emma Hess.
Yeah.
Aya's daughter going to post up. Pitts works. Missed it. Offensive rebound. Second try. She's heading to the free throw line.
And what I love watching in Aya's daughter's game right there in the post, this is not a natural post player. She came into Liberty as a guard. She has guard skills. She can hit from outside. She loves coming off screens. But I'll tell you what, Katie Feenstra has done a very good job at teaching this young lady those post moves, had her back to the basket. back and forth. I mean, there's a reason she was in the Sweet 16 20 years ago, Katie Matera, and now that expertise trickling down to her players.
There have been so many good post players over the year for this Liberty team. Beenstra sisters, you think more recently, Maya Berkman, Bella Smuda, and even others like perhaps Emmy Stout in the future.
Oh, I mean, so many. I could go back team after team. I mean, you got the triplets, Frazee triplets. You have Devin Brown, Amber Mays, Diamond Morgan. So many great players in this program.
Boom, tripped on the ref. Don't see that very often. Pass inside for Stout.
Wow. Didn't even see that opening there, but Emma Hess did, and she delivered the pass.
And a timeout for FIU. Liberty nearly doubling up the Panthers today. They lead by 27. A timeout here in Lynchburg.
Asking for any sympathy. I'll tell you what, she knows it's the next player up mentality. That's Maya Kone on the bench, and that's Badosa, who the point guard not playing today. But this is a team that where other players have stepped up, it just has not been as consistently as coach would want it to be.
There still is some guarded optimism with inside the FIU program that they could get one or the other of those players back before the end of this year. But Kelly, you start to play the numbers game a little bit and you say, man, there's only 3-4 games left. Is it worth just redshirting a player if they can't get back quick? Chance to catch the snow-delayed game between LSU and South Carolina yesterday. You saw a pretty good post battle there. Chloe Kitts and others, along with Anessa Morrow, who's a double-double machine. So you can have it both, right, Kelly?
Oh, my gosh. Anessa Morrow, actually, you know what? That's a pretty good likening right there. Anessa Morrow reminds me a lot of Izzy Nadabo in terms of body, the way they go up for rebounds, their physicality in the post. I mean, that's somebody I would like to have been compared to. So it says a lot about your game, Nadabo.
One thing that shocked me the other day, I did not realize that Morrow is just 6'1" and her ability to dominate inside.
Yeah, she's undersized, was that leading scorer in the country when she was at DePaul, and now has found a home at LSU for the last couple of years. And I'll tell you, that's a dangerous team. Obviously getting their first loss of the season at the hands of the former national champions.
20-1 for the Fighting Kim Mulkeys. Don Staley's team eyeing a 4th consecutive national championship this year, and they might just be #1 in the AP poll this week. There's Nadabo inside. Double figures now for 24 in blue. Liberty without a starter on the floor here midway through the third. Mills, who had the hot start, missed the 3. Steenbergen got a hand on it. And Moore couldn't finish the second chance. Here comes Fleta in transition. Driving right at Stout, who denies her at the rim.
Well, Mills had gotten back quickly to pick up the position, to pick up the charge, had she run into her, and you're going to see it here. Waiting for the charge, steps around right into the long arm of Emmy Stout.
And that's great positioning by Mills because you give the offensive player a choice. Either run me over or deal with Stout.
And you're taking away the straight line drive, so she's in the exact right position.
Down low for Nadabo. 11 today, make it 13. She's having a big impact.
Well, with Bella Smuda out of this game, that's where I'd go too.
Such a special piece. She averaged over 16 points per game during her 2-year career at Sacramento State. Kind of lost her way a little bit at Iowa State, but has come back with a vengeance this year. Stout, crafty finish.
Well, smart play there, and then Nadabo picked up a fiend on the baseline, left Emmy Stout wide open to take her own bucket.
FIU searching for offense and trying to go to Nadabo almost every time down the floor. She's got positioning on Stout. Catches it. Stout playing good defense, and Nadabo just a bit better and will head to the free throw line.
Tell you what, Izzy Nadabo has turned it on in this part of the third quarter. They're getting her the ball. She's got deep position, and she's going up strong with the contact that time. But that's the key against her. You cannot let her get such a deep position inside the paint. You've got to keep her outside.
I wish I had the advanced analytics on this, but Nadabo shooting over 70% from the field, and I have to imagine probably 95% of her shots come within about 8 foot of the basket.
Has to be.
Misses the free throw. Battle for the rebound. Mills comes up with it. FIU trying to battle here in the third quarter on a day that has just not been theirs. Athene locates Mills. Right back into the post. Stout had good positioning.
All right, I just wanted Avery to take that shot, though. I mean, that is well within her range. But you know what? I love her being a passer, too. Great look.
That's the first time I've ever heard you not talk about a post score.
That's right. I know. You might be right there. Love those post-entry passes. I don't think we get them enough as post players, but tell you what, when Avery Mills is that wide open, that's a layup.
Mills having a good day today. 11 points, a couple of assists. And only 10 minutes of play as Bella Smuda set to check back in.
So Emmy Stout, who has 4 fouls, will go to the bench, and Smuda just with 1 foul in this game so far.
She's done a nice job of that throughout the season. Lita pulls for the mid-range. Circles in and out. Athene drives, finishes.
She is, I mean, every time she's got the ball in her hand, something good happens. She's a great decision maker. Comes off the double screen at the top. Her defense is a step behind her. She scoops it in off the glass.
All 10 players that have played today for Liberty have now scored. Pitts, Nadabo, just a bit too strong.
Here's the double screen up top, and I think they were looking for the kick on the three-point line. The defense was, and instead gave Athene a wide open lane to the bucket.
I think that's a great point right there, because you have to respect her passing ability, and then she'll just burn you to the hoop.
100%. You know, that's probably the scouting report on her, is that she is an excellent passer. Great court vision. Always going to know where to put the ball, but you know what you forget? She can take it on her own.
Kelly, you played in Europe, and oftentimes that's what you hear about European players, great vision.
So true.
Smuda with some good vision to find more. Has the mismatch. Steenbergen playing inspired hoops. And that's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow going to keep it with the Flames. I believe the shot clock is supposed to reset there, but still at 6. If it doesn't change possession, it does not reset. Here's Moore. Drives. Got the shot off in time. Last touched by Steenbergen as it goes back to FIU. Badosa playing some good defense on Fleta. In the lineup today with Jordan Hodges out with the flu. Fleta over Badosa. And the long rebound goes to Pitts. Dumped into Nadabo, and she's going back to the free throw line. We talked about the free throw struggles, and the coaching staff told Nadabo this week, they said, just make the shot, and then you only have to shoot 1 free throw.
That's right. Best way to avoid the free throw line is to make that first one. She does on another and 1 attempt for her. This was a long battle for her. They had just had 30 seconds prior, put up a shot, got the offensive board, and she had been working that entire 30 seconds. So even being tired, still made that free throw.
18 today for Nadabo. 12 of those have come here in the third quarter. Liberty can take the final shot. Here's Badosa. Atkins walls her up. Liberty trying to make something happen. Steenbergen throws it up at the buzzer and gets it to go. The Flames with a 25-point advantage after 3 quarters in Lynchburg.
I mean, Paris Atkins found fantastic, but I'm going to go Nadabo. I just think what she brings to this team is special. You don't find a player like this very often in the mid-major who comes down and is this dominant inside.
I think her coach said it best when we talked to Jessica Burks-Wiley earlier this week. She compared her game to Zach Edey, who used to play for Purdue, now in the NBA. And Kelly, I think she summed it up best. Anytime that Nadabo is on the floor, she commands gravity.
Yeah. I mean, she certainly does, and everybody's thinking about it. So not only the post player is thinking about how do I defend her, but every guard is thinking about, okay, when do I dig down? Now I have to help over. Everybody's thoughts are on 24 and blue right now.
Under 10 on the shot clock. This is Atkins. Just 8 points so far today. Pitts is guarded by Ayesdottir. Had to throw it up, and Ayesdottir rejected it. What's gone right today for Liberty offensively?
Yeah, I think the way that they play together, the extra passes, they're getting the looks they want on offense, using ball screens well, and it's been a clean game. I mean, at the first half, I think Liberty had 6 turnovers. Now they're at 7. Or no, maybe it was even fewer than that, but they're at 7 right now for the game. So everything they've done has been efficient.
Liberty tracking towards a season low in turnovers. And that has, at times this year, been an issue for Carrie Greenside, but they certainly controlled that here today. Hess underneath and the easy finish.
Hess uses the baseline better than most people, I think, in the women's game. Like, she just understands angles, she understands the way defense shifts, and she takes advantage to get her shot.
She's never been the most athletic player on the court, but she's very intellectual, to your point.
She's so smart.
Another kickball for Ayesdottir. We touched on Izzy Nadabo, and why not with the game she's playing today, 18 points. And she sat behind Audie Crooks last year, played about 10 minutes per game, didn't play a lot, to be honest. Not used to that in her career, and I think she's just starting to round back into the form.
I mean, did you just see her post up Smuda? I cannot believe she didn't get the ball. Was pushing her deep inside the paint. And to be honest, I think if Smuda had fallen over, that likely would have been an offensive foul on Nadabo. But this is a player that just knows how to use her body. Yeah, started 4 games for Iowa State before Audie Crooks took over in that position. And then you're right, just had very limited playing time after that.
And FIU fans would fondly remember Courtney Pranger, who played a year ago after transferring into the program. And Coach Jessica Burks-Wiley said Courtney Pranger's year last year prepared her to work with Nadabo this year, and realizing that you have to give a player time to get back into their game.
And that has been something that she has focused on, is the confidence part, right? Teaching her, she said, I'm never going to be that player that's just going to blow smoke. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, where you need to get better. But that has transferred into watching this young lady just completely just soar here at FIU. Meanwhile, Bella Smuda gets a bucket of her own.
Hey, you played for a coach much like that back in your time at Notre Dame under Muffet McGraw.
That's right. Yeah, didn't throw out a lot of compliments, but I'll tell you what, I learned more about the game of basketball than I ever did in my life prior to that.
Great catch for Nadabo, but couldn't finish.
And not to say, by the way, that she didn't compliment. I'm just saying she cared more about teaching us things, right, than telling us how good we were all the time.
Hey, it paid off with a national championship.
It did. She's won a couple now.
Now Notre Dame, odds-on favorite perhaps to win one this year. As Fleta gets inside.
Shout out to my point guard and one of my greatest friends, Neil Ivey, who's coaching that incredible Notre Dame team to such success this year. I'll tell you what, if you are not a huge women's basketball fan and you want to watch a team that is special, you turn on the Fighting Irish, because those guards, there's no better backcourt in all of college basketball than the Notre Dame guards.
as a fan of the sport, you wondered what would happen after Caitlin Clark left the sport and kind of that power vacuum. But man, you look at what South Carolina's doing this year. You look at UCLA, Notre Dame. Look at what Texas did the other day against Tennessee. This is the golden era of women's college basketball.
100%. I mean, there is so much parity in this league. And that's going to include, by the way, these mid-majors, who, by the way, Liberty now in the top 25 in the mid-majors. MTSU dropped a little bit after that loss. But, I mean, the mid-majors, you don't want to see a mid-major team in your bracket come NCAA tournament time, because good players now are going everywhere.
Block there for Marina. Driving inside, James. Hess grabs the rebound. Liberty's yet to take the pedal, or their foot off the pedal, rather. Battle for the basketball. We're going to get a tie-up. And Kelly, I think the point you're making is interesting, and that's why games like today are so important for a squad like Liberty, because you want to take advantage of these opportunities and not have that blip on the radar, because you're trying to play yourself to a seed line that maybe doesn't force you to match up with some of the top teams in the country if you get through to March.
Well, and I think since we are talking Liberty here, that is why that depth of Liberty I think could be a huge asset in that March time. Obviously, in Conference USA, you've got to win the tournament. It's likely not a two-bid league. Even if MTSU does not win it, I do not believe that they will have a bid in that tournament. They would probably like to say otherwise, but the league is just too good right now. I mean, ACC alone will likely put in 10, 11 teams. Big Ten will put in 12 likely. There's too many good teams at that top level, so getting to that late March time is going to be a very difficult task.
And you forgot the Southeastern Conference with multiple teams in the top 10.
Oh, them too, right.
Certainly a lot of the power continues to consolidate at the top with women's college basketball, but at the mid-major level, still a lot of parity.
And I think the transfer portal helps that a ton, right? Because now you've got players who didn't play as much at the Power 4, play at the school that they chose, but they now can transfer and get more time somewhere else. And how about another block by Smuda? The second, imagine the devastation. I watch those things on TV, and I feel like I would have to see it with my own eyes to understand how awful the devastation is. I mean, I have been praying for that community for many weeks now, and well, I guess, has it even been a couple weeks? Gosh, I mean, maybe not, but I love all the help, all the resources. This is when our country is at its best, when they're in need, when people are in need, and people step up. So keep on giving.
Right back in at Natabo in the post, who has 20 today. 14 of those 20 coming in the second half. This potentially would be a different ball game if she had gotten going in the first half this afternoon.
Yeah, or if someone had stepped up around her, right, to make it more of a two-way threat. Threes not falling for FIU. They only have 3 on the day. It just has not been the guards' day for FIU.
Outside of Natabo, Paris Atkins with 8 points today, Pitts with 3. There just hasn't been a lot of scoring from people in that starting lineup other than Natabo. As Boone hits the first. Boone into double figures today. Averaging over 10 points a game now in conference play. She's heating up in a big way lately.
We had a stretch where there were a few players that were playing a little bit under their average, and shots just weren't falling as much. And it's really fun because all those players are back doing what is expected, and it has been a fun thing to watch. Number 23 is one of those. Wow, has she been special even today, and about to potentially knock down another 3.
And she does. 14 today for Emma Hess. Second 3 as she tries to track down the all-time leader in threes, Cynthia Thompson's record. Each just 30.
By the way, Elena Kiseleva in the arena today. This is the leading all-time scorer for Liberty. Her record will likely go untouched now that the COVID era has officially been completed. No more 5-year players after this. And especially with the transfer portal, right? You're not going to get a lot of program numbers like that anymore.
Kelly, I don't think I've ever asked you this, but we talk about the COVID era and how oftentimes that's rewritten a lot of records. Do you think, as we see Hess take the 3, doesn't get the hometown roll, should there be a notation about that in programs record?
I think there always should. I mean, that's 5 years versus 4 years. And yes, I understand what those players had to endure during those COVID years. That is, I don't want to diminish that by any stretch, because that was miserable, right? Some even were out there with masks sometimes. I mean, so many rules around that. So they had to go through a lot, but I do. You know, the more games you play, the more those records will be broken, and just a notation, I think I would appreciate.
Well, and you think of someone like a Badosa, who, if things go well over the final 12 games of the regular season, there's a good chance that she's going to break her assistant coach, Katie Matera. Badosa's played significantly more games, and to Bella's credit, Katie Matera has told us off camera that she has recognized that fact.
She always says it, and I imagine all athletes do. You know, even when they do break a record, I imagine that they are very aware. You know, hey, I got some extra time, got to be able to do that. But even still, I mean, it never diminishes what these young players do. But you know, I mean, it was an interesting conversation that I had with Elena, because you know, she said, I wondered, would somebody in this era be able to do that? And I mean, she's up at she's over 2,000 points. So the likelihood isn't great, although you think of a player like an Avery Mills who could put up points in a hurry, right? This is somebody who's played 13 minutes, has 11 points. If she can continue that through her 4 years, and I don't mean that, but I mean significantly more, because you know she'll be on the floor a lot more. And these are the kind of players that could potentially get to that position.
She scored 2,700 points in her high school career, so who knows? Badosa probably won't see her again today. 5 blocks, now within 30 of her assistant coach's all-time program record. Pitts was short on the 3. A DI walked inside. Kelly, when you think about this FIU team, they are finally going to get to go home, and I think that's a welcome sign for them. They've got matchups coming up against Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. You feel like there's an on-ramp to maybe get heated back up.
Yeah, and you know, they need that right now. The travel schedule for the Conference USA can really be brutal and take its toll, and especially on a team that's already depleted in numbers like they are. And what a pass by Peen Steenbergen into Brooke Moore. Wow, great backdoor look.
8 today for Moore off the bench. And the bench has been the storyline today for Liberty, outscoring FIU 37-7. That's plus 30 if you're not good at math. Diatta working on Stout, who has 4 personals, and that's going to be number 5. So Emmy Stout, bit of a frustrating day, made the best of it though.
How about that pass? Brooke Moore, the overplay, first of all, by FIU, which we've seen all day long. And the understanding to go back door, and then for Steenbergen to hit her. That was great.
So 5 personals now on Emmy Stout, in a conversation for Kerry Green. Looks like he's going to have to put Aya's daughter back in. Into Diatta at the free throw line. Stout comes out, Aya's daughter back on the floor. First points of the afternoon for Diatta out of Dakar, Senegal. A lot of international flair on both of these rosters. And you really do see that across Conference USA.
As you and I mentioned, I mean, just a little thing, but because there's one from, or there 2 from Spain, rather, for Liberty. As one of those Spaniards just hit a bucket. Thank you. Well-timed, Claudia Athene. There are quite a few from Spain, in particular, in Conference USA.
This league certainly has become a melting pot. You think of what they're doing out at UTEP and all the international players on that roster and others. MTSU has a lot of internationals.
I think we do like an international food affair. Since we talked about food, right, in the Open, I think we need to do that. Maybe at the conference tournament or something. Everybody bring your own country's dish.
Hey, if you're a Conference USA fan and you tuned into Media Day, I was trying to set that up back in October, for being honest. I still got to take advantage of some of those free meals I was offered.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's great, Kelly. You and I are going to be in Huntsville. I think we should, put our words in, and we can have a buffet at some point.
Hey, I wouldn't mind it at all. Get some kitchen, nearby where players can come in and put something together. I mean, I don't need to cook it. I just want to eat it.
Hey, you cook enough, right, with your kids?
I do.
Future Division I athlete as well, and your son?
I know. How about that? Going to play football at the Naval Academy is my son James. And a nice three-pointer, by the way, by Fantasia James. Good name.
5 on the afternoon. Liberty's going to come away with another win. They're going to move to 6-1 in conference play. Mills, the cherry on top.
Love it. Doesn't need a lot of space.
14 for Mills today. She's hit 3 from distance. And Liberty's bench has put 42 points on the board.
It's incredible. And by the way, I know that was off the three-point line, but I used to watch Avery Mills play in high school, and I will tell you what, that girl shoots 15 feet off the three-point line if she's allowed.
Deanna going to head right back to the free throw line.
So the pass, no surprise from Claudia Thien, finds her, knocks it down. Yeah, and that's just about on the three-point line. But I'm telling you what, the range for this freshman is silly. She could be at the logo. She could be a Caitlin Clark type of three-point shooter. Coach Green just needs to give her that green light. She had that green light, by the way. Heather Stevens, a 2005 Sweet 16 coach, longtime coach for Carrie Green, was her high school coach at LCA, and she would give her that green light. So you saw a lot of those threes go up for Avery Mills at LCA.
A lot of sharpshooters in the building here today. It's been a fun day in Lynchburg. Liberty going to improve to 13-5 on the season. After their best start in Conference USA, they will move to 6-1. And pending the result of MTSU's game today, Liberty will stay with a share of first place in the league. FIU falls to 7-11 as Liberty comes away with a big victory here today in Lynchburg, Kelly.
Yeah, the shooting was astounding in this one. We talked about the post battle.